Mark, the red graph, and Iris, the blue graph, are driving two separate cars to San Francisco. They begin the trip with full gas tanks. The amount of gas in gallons that remains in each car depends on the number of miles driven, as shown to the right. After how many miles will the tanks contain the same amount of gas? If the number of miles driven is more than this, which car will have more gas in its tank? So let's take a look at the graph and make sure we understand it first. So we see on the right-hand side that the scale is labeled miles driven, and we've got 0 to 600. So the scale goes from 0 miles to 600 miles driven. And then on the vertical axis, it's labeled as gallons of gas in the tank, and it starts at 0 and goes all the way up to 60. So as mentioned in the instructions, Mark is the red graph and Iris is the blue graph. So here we have this line. The red line is Mark's trip, the record of Mark's trip. And in blue, we have a record of Iris's trip. So it says here, after how many miles will the tanks contain the same amount of gas? So the same amount of gas, remember this vertical scale is the gallons of gas, and we can see at this point right here, that's when the gallons of gas are the same. And if we go down here, we can see that at 250 miles, the amount of gas will be the same. So we know that after 250 miles driven, the amount of gas in the tanks is the same. Okay, so let's take a look at the second question. If the number of miles driven is more than this, which car will have more gas in its tank? So we're talking about the number of miles now. So this is on our X scale. Is more than this. So we're talking about to the right of that point, to the right of 250 miles. Which car will have more gas in it? So on that portion of the trip, you can see that the red line is higher than the blue line. So during that portion of the trip where you have driven more than 250 miles, you can see that the red graph, which is Mark, has more gas in the tank because it has a higher Y value. Remember, the Y part is the gallons in the tank. So Mark's car has more gallons of gas after 250 miles driven. Thank you for checking out my videos. Have a great day.